Deja vu as the Arizona High School football playoffs commence. It is the Battle of Brown Road Part 2. Just 6 days ago, these two teams faced one another. Greetings and welcome, everyone. Alongside Chris Andriotis, I'm Zach Warhack, and tonight, the 5th-seeded Mountain View Toros host the 12th-seeded Red Mountain Mountain Lions. A 28-21 scoreline 6 days ago at Red Mountain, and it was a thriller. Came down to a quarterback sneak to end it with under a minute left, but bad blood in this rivalry matchup. These two teams facing one another, how much does that change a game plan, seeing each other on such short notice?
Well, there's not really going to be many surprises. I think at this point you just do what you do, and you feel like you can do it better than the other guy, and you're going to let it all fly. I mean, chance at redemption for the Mountain Lions. It's really exciting to have this opportunity to get right back at it 6 days later, so I'm excited.
It was a different look last week for the offense of Mountain View. Typically a pass-happy team. Isaac Jean-Pierre, 2 touchdowns on the ground, and he had a big game, over 70 yards rushing.
He did, and I think they're going to try to get back to that tonight. That's a winning formula in playoff football. Run the football and play defense, so they're going to try to get back to that and recreate last week's result.
They looked really good in the ground game with their running back, Isaac Jean-Pierre. On the flip side of things, Simon Lopez gets the start at quarterback tonight for Red Mountain, and it's been back and forth between him and Heap, but he gets the start tonight. His legs, very useful.
He's the X factor tonight. If he's able to run around and improvise and make plays with his feet, it could be a difference in the game, I think, because if he can do his thing like he's done in the past and he's healthy, it could spell doom for the Toros.
It's going to be exciting. The 6A high school football playoffs start tonight. We have the matchup, the Battle of Brown Road Part 2, after the break.
Back to return for the Toros, number 8, Dominic Gerard, and number 4, Haden Marks.
The last time these two teams met in the playoffs was the year 2000. Red Mountain went on to win the state championship last year, and Kai Evans gets us underway. Kickoff returned and brought out. Marks is tackled and brought down by Red Wing, as he paired with Krieger on the stop. And good to have James Krieger back for Red Mountain. Last week, he missed the game, a big part of that Red Mountain defense.
Yeah, and I think getting their linebacking crew going early tonight is a big key. They seem to be slow to go a little bit early on in the game last week. A pretty unimpressive first half, I would say, for the Mountain Lion defense, although they held them to 1 touchdown. They just weren't flying around like we've seen them, so I think they want to get out hot tonight.
When I spoke with head coach for Red Mountain, Kyle Enders, prior to the game, that's one thing he highlighted is we can't wait to react. We don't have 2 quarters to see what they're doing. We have to come out firing and executing early. First down, it's a pass from Jermaine, swung out to the near side of the field, could not connect with Gunnar Gornick. And that brings up 2nd down and 10 for Mountain View.
And again, a little quick screen, just trying to get in rhythm early, get a touch to one of your playmakers, easy throw for the quarterback. We'd like to complete that, I think, instead of being at 2nd and 10.
A lot of playmakers in this wide receiving core for Mountain View. Last week, it was all about Corendus Poe and Gunnar Gornick. Gornick had the first target of the game right there. He went 8 catches, 74 yards last week against Red Mountain. Empty set look this time around for Jack Germain, son of head coach Joe Germain, at the quarterback position for Mountain View. Blitz coming from Champ Jennings, unevaded to the passer, and Castaneda almost comes up with his first interception of the season there.
Yeah, if we bring up the replay here, they bring Jennings up. Oh, that's the first one. Never mind. Sorry. I'll have that one for you in a minute.
The incompletion and then the pressure from Jennings, who's had a great season as Champ Jennings, amongst the best tacklers in the state of Arizona. He's eclipsed 100 on the season, and it's a linebacking battle tonight on the other side of the ball. Beckham Barney, top 2 in 6A in tackles. Just 13 seconds gone, a couple of incompletions from Mountain View. looking to convert on third down. Jennings gets to the passer again and hits Jermaine. So 2 hurries on back-to-back plays from the senior Champ Jennings, and he's been doing it all season.
And that is definitely something we did not see much of last week, is Jermaine under pressure, and Red Mountain's able to pressure him twice on that first series. That's Mountain View's going to have to get together and get their protection figured out. It's going to be a long night.
Red Mountain have all the answers defensively from what they did not just a week ago, as they force the 3 and out, and Mountain View don't even move the ball. Botch snap on the punt, able to be scooped up and get it across midfield. A nice play by Mason Lindbergh. After the snap was a little bit low and he lost it, it ends up being downed at the Red Mountain 32.
So if we go to the replay here on that last pressure, you see Jennings at the left side of your screen here, and Mauder come and meet in the backfield there, and he just makes an inside move on a tight end who's not normally used to pass protecting. They're going to try to get those one-on-one matchups in the pass rush game.
A tough battle there for Jean-Pierre to have to block Champ Jennings coming through as a running back versus linebacker. And now Simon Lopez gets his offense out to the field, and the first play goes nowhere for Zay Savoy. Savoy stood up by Beckham Barney, and he's one of those stud linebackers in this game. You have one on each side of the ball. We talked about Champ Jennings on the opening drive, but Beckham Barney, only a junior, second in 6A in tackles, and he flies around the field. He's good in the run game, and he can defend in the pass game as well.
Yeah, he is a complete linebacker for sure.
Lopez on 2nd down and 10 with an option to keep it, but gives to Savoy, who gets to the outside, and he's brought down on the edge. Brody Anderson, the sophomore, with his first tackle of the evening. Both defenses playing inspired early tonight, as Red Mountain gave up nothing, and they've only gained 2 yards offensively up to this point.
Hey, tell Krieger in blue he wanted to get inside leverage. Inside leverage.
It's been a quarterback carousel for Red Mountain so far this season. It's been Kyle Heap, it's been Simon Lopez, injuries flip-flopping back and forth. It's hard to find a rhythm. Lopez almost tried to pump it, and Bodie Wagner, the intended target, it slipped out of his hands, and 3 and outs for both offenses.
Yeah, he was about to throw and I think changed his mind midway. I think they ruled that incomplete.
No fumble on the play, but Lopez last week, after the Kyle Heap upper body injury, was forced to come into the game cold off of the bench while he was still nursing a hamstring injury, and his first pass was a pick 6 to Riggs Metcalf, so maybe a little bit hesitant to let the ball go there.
Yeah, and I think he saw that the Toros had that sniffed out pretty well and changed his mind, and the ball just kind of squirted out on him.
Mauder with his first punt of the evening, and a good one, and it's botched! And a turnover on special teams, scooped up by Cannon Skidmore, and that breathes life into the Red Mountain sideline.
That's impressive for the long snapper to get down there and be the first guy on the ball. Skidmore is going to be playing in the All-American Army game as a long snapper, and you can see he's got skills and coverage skills to go with it.
Fired up, and he'll be right back out onto the field on the offensive side of things. And a good punt from Mauder, not a true punter on this Red Mountain team. He plays everywhere. He plays DN, he plays linebacker, he played running back at the start of the season, and he puts a good punt out there. Tough return, and now Red Mountain get the ball back.
And those are the kind of plays that add up in playoff football. You know, everybody talks about the turnover margin. If you can be in the plus side of that, you have a very high percentage of winning.
Lopez out of the pistol this time around. Fakes it to Savoy, and Lopez goes across the grain and gets it out to Bodie Wagner with room to work with. So positive yardage this time around for Red Mountain.
Nice little boot play there. They peeled the left guard, it looked like, so he came back and secured the edge so Simon wouldn't have somebody in his face right away, and they're going up tempo here. Empty set.
Lopez takes the snap quick. They set up the wide receiver screen to Wagner on the far side of the field. And good to see the pass game getting going early for Red Mountain. They only completed 5 passes in that loss last week against Mountain View.
Yeah, and that one was a little bit high. Wagner had to go up and make a great play on it just to pull it in, and then luckily was able to spin forward and get 4 yards. It's a great play.
9:40 to go in the first quarter, 2nd down and 7 for Red Mountain, and Savoy gets the direct snap. Up the middle, and Mountain View stand their ground. First one in on the line to Vita Tease.
Little deception with the direct snap to the tailback. I like it. The quarterback has to be careful. He can't ham it up too much or they can call deception. So he just has to kind of turn away.
Back to the pistol, which they ran on the first play of this drive. Lopez fakes it to Savoy. Heap tries to slip out in coverage. Lopez scrambles, takes a shot, and it's guarded well by Jesper Lake.
Yeah, they went back with the boot there again. They had 3 levels. They had the flat, they had an over route, and then a corner route there from, I think it was Wagner at the bottom of the screen here.
Missing champ. Nope, we're good. No, they just switched sides.
Following the special teams turnover, it'll be a field goal attempt for Red Mountain. So the opportunity to get points on the board, but Mountain View do a great job standing their ground in the red zone. Castaneda to hold, Kai Evans to attempt the kick. Evans puts it up and through, and he's been good all year for Red Mountain and gets them the lead early with 8:51 left in the first.
And it's always a plus when you're the visiting team to get points on the board early, kind of take the crowd out of it a little bit. And, defense played really well in that first series. I'm sure they're anxious to get back out there.
Not too much of a visiting team, just 3 or 4 miles down Brown Road, but Red Mountain do take the 3-0 lead, and we'll take a break on NFHS and RMTV. Kai Evans, responsible for the only points up to this point in the game, kicks this one away, a short kick handled by Hodden Marks, who brings it out across the 25, but good coverage and a stop that time on special teams by Bryce Bigler.
And I don't know, I feel like this game's a little more physical, a little more intense than last week's game. A lot more on the line, it's a playoff game, and just the hitting and the collisions I'm seeing on the field, these teams are bringing it tonight.
I think playoff football plays testament to that. These teams a little bit more inspired, and when you're back-to-back rivalry weeks, obviously Red Mountain don't like the way that last week ended losing on your home turf. They want to reverse the role and do the same tonight.
Absolutely.
Second possession of the game for this Mountain View offense as Jack Germain looks to get going, and he gives to Jean-Pierre. Nixon the first one in, and Seth Barron eventually makes the tackle.
Number 17, Isaac Jean-Pierre.
So back to the ground game for Mountain View, and Jean-Pierre, as we mentioned, he ran hard last game. He had 21 carries, 96 yards, and 2 touchdowns. They came from 2 yards out and 11 yards out. So he was showing his strength in that. This Mountain View team, they can run the rock too.
Absolutely. And he's a tough runner. He keeps those legs going, as you saw in that last play. Legs driving the whole time.
Germain looks to go back to the air, scrambling. Floats this one out to his own sideline, incomplete and out of bounds.
That was Castaneda on the pressure. I like Coach Enders finding creative ways to bring pressure from different areas. And again, that just makes it harder on the offensive line and the quarterback because he doesn't know where it's coming from.
You talk about Chris Castaneda. At the start of the season, when I was prepping for the year for this team, I had him highlighted as a ball hawk. 3 interceptions a year ago. teams almost don't want to throw to him because he's so great in coverage, still looking for that first interception on the season.
Tonight would be the night to do it, I'll tell you that. I already told him that today at school.
Jermaine throws across far side of the field, and that one broken up by Isaac Haney, and showing the depth of this Red Mountain bench as Haney has come in late in the season and made an impact, and Jermaine hasn't been able to get much going in the passing game.
I think one thing you can tell that the Red Mountain defensive staff decided is they are not going to let Jermaine sit back there and pick apart their secondary, and they're going to make him throw quickly and accurately. And that was a great drive on the ball there by Haney. It was almost a pick.
He is such a talented passer, and he's been through so much in his young career in high school football. 3 knee surgeries already, but putting up great statistics throughout the year. So you have to force pressure on a good passer like that as Castaneda makes a dangerous fair catch at the 40.
Yeah, last week in the first half, I don't know if he left the pocket. I don't think he even moved. I think he just kind of set up. He could have had a ham sandwich and a cup of coffee back there, and they weren't able to get pressure on him at all. And now this week is a whole different story so far.
I don't know what you're into, but that sounds like one of the most disgusting food combinations I've ever heard. A ham sandwich and a cup of coffee?
I guess. maybe it was a Danish.
A donut, breakfast sandwich I would give you.
A ham and egg.
From the 40, Red Mountain, a lot of motion as they get reset to start the drive with 7:50 left in the first. Lopez flings it forward, and Gunnar Moore this time has nowhere to go, and both these defenses responding to one another. Jackson Bogle gets his nose in on the tackle.
Yeah, so if we go to the replay here, you're going to see the shifts. Oh, they don't have the early shift. What they were doing is they're switching strengths by shifting the 2 tight ends over, and now with the fly motion, they're able to get an extra guy at the point of attack. So knowing Mountain View's tendency to line up to the tight end, they're able to dictate matchups.
Lopez turns and gives to Savoy, who hasn't been able to get much going tonight, but he's been a key spark plug of this team throughout the season. And he's been one where it's just keep giving it to him, and eventually he'll break one or get involved in the passing game.
Yep. And I think, again, I think I said this last week, the more touches he gets, the better he gets over the course of a game. And, those runs may not be getting big right now, but I think they will by the end of the game. They stay with it.
Empty set on 3rd and 8 for Lopez, just about halfway through the first quarter. Pressure off the edge, unabated. Lopez able to use his legs to get out, and he finds Savoy in the passing game. Flag flies in late. We'll await the call, and it'll be the first one of the night for Jake Gustafson and his crew.
And that's the kind of thing that Simon, the X factor that he brings to this offense is, they had him dead to rights. They had an unblocked player at the point of attack. They're coming off the edge, and he's able to evade and make a throw.
Offensive pass interference is the call, and that backs things up after the completion for first down. And Riggs Metcalf was the one coming off of the edge, and that's almost a mirror image of what Castaneda got his sack on last week for Red Mountain.
Yeah, I'm looking at the clip now. I don't see, like, it wasn't a rub. He just kind of stopped and set up.
It makes it 3rd and 23 now. Tough to see the call. But now a long distance, and the crowd on their feet making a lot of noise on the Mountain View side of things. Timeout taken by the Red Mountain sideline as they want to chat things over before this 3rd and forever.
Yeah, I think they called it on, it was, I can't tell who that receiver is. Is it Wagner? Did Wagner catch the ball?
Savoy caught it, but Wagner was in the vicinity.
Yeah. So Wagner was running a deeper route and stopped, and it looks like he made a collision with the corner. And I think the official saw it and thought he was blocking him downfield.
Always a tough call to make, but regardless, it makes it 3rd and a long distance. So really, both defenses have been the stars of the game up to this point. They're tackling really well, which is something that you need to do when it comes playoff time. Don't let any yards after catch or contact come into fruition. But it's been the front defensive line for Mountain View and the linebacking core for Red Mountain.
And I think both offenses thus far have been pretty conservative. I think they're playing it safe. They're feeling out the other team. I don't think we haven't seen any big shots downfield as of yet. I think we'll probably see one here.
Wagner in motion at the bottom of your screen as he tightens the formation. Lopez checks down to Wagner and swallowed up by Riggs Metcalf. A huge part of that linebacking core. Makes tackle number 62 on the season.
Yeah, it was a good play. They were trying to sneak him underneath on a shallow route, and Metcalf was all over that one.
So a slow-moving first quarter because of all the stops and punts and turnovers, but a lot of time and a lot of possessions for each of these teams to have an opportunity. Mauder out now for another punt. We know the previous result was the botched return that resulted in 3 points. Another high kick for Mauder lands short and skips forward out towards the 30-yard line. Down this time by Logan Haney, and we'll step away, take a quick break, a 3-0 lead with 5:06 left in the first quarter.
After the punt, the Toros will start their drive on the 31-yard line.
Mountain View have yet to target Mikey Sumko on the game. And he's been a high targeted receiver of this team throughout the season. And Red Mountain in the backfield when that handoff goes to Jean-Pierre, and he still manages a yard.
It's unbelievable. He had somebody up around his legs and somebody on the side of him, and he's still able to push forward. It's pretty impressive. Yeah, Simcoe only had one target and one catch last week, and it was a pretty big one from what I recall.
It was late in the game, and it was the one that got them down into the red zone to end the game on that quarterback sneak late to give them the 28-21 victory. But Sumco 9th and 6A in receiving yards. He's isolated at the bottom of the screen in single coverage. Screen set up this time for Marks, who tries to work after the catch. But a nice tackle out on the island that time around from Logan Haney.
Another great pressure by Castaneda. He was almost able to bat that down or tip it. He's been living in the backfield thus far tonight.
So many familial ties in this game. You have Logan Haney as well as Isaac Haney, Champ and Chayton Jennings. On the flip side of things, Jack Germain, head coach Joe Germain, and our officiating crew, Jake Gustafson and Caden Gustafson, the father-son duo calling the game tonight. Germain escapes pressure on third down, sidearms it to Sumco, looking for a flag. He will not get it, and it brings up 4th down and 8.
Yeah, that was a nice play. He broke on the ball. He wasn't playing the man. He was obviously playing the ball. A little bit of a collision there with their arms, but I think that was a good no call by the official.
Another punt for Mountain View. Frustration on the sidelines from the offense as they go back to watch the tape. Just trying to get in the groove, but it's the same for both teams. Good punt this time around. Castaneda waves for the fair catch. And Red Mountain start just about the same spot they did last drive, spotted at the 33.
Yeah, we'll see if they're going to unveil something new for this drive. You know, we saw a little bit more shifting, trying to change strength. Let's see if they go back to that. Maybe getting Simon Lopez out on the edge, giving him a chance to use his legs.
The other thing that I know is in the playbook is that wildcat that we saw against Hamilton a couple of weeks ago, but the direct snap that Savoy was able to take on a drive earlier in the game, showing signs of that. Lopez under center this time. The give to Savoy, and not much of a hole to work with. Spits out forward for a couple, and the stop made by Brigham McCown.
And again, if Mountain View has a strong side defensive front, would like to play to the tight end, they're unable to do that with the shifting. You know, because normally a team wouldn't shift their whole front every time there's a motion. You'd be running around like a fire drill.
Just under 3 minutes, and Lopez out of the pistol. Back-to-back gives to Savoy, and this time blockers out in front. How about that? Big Hector Martinez getting downfield, and a first down pickup for Red Mountain.
Yeah, that's the old counter tray where you pull the guard and tackle. I think Red Mountain calls that GAT. And heck of a play there. If we go to the video here, the kick out by Yos, and Hector is like a runaway freight train.
His eyes had to be lighting up. He was just looking to find somebody in the secondary to mark up against.
A lineman's dream. You get a running start to hit somebody. You kidding me?
Savoy, 3 straight carries and a nice hole again out across the 45, and Red Mountain now in Mountain View territory as we approach the 2-minute mark.
And the thing that's very positive is the offensive line for Red Mountain is pushing the Toro front right now. They've been driving them off the ball these last 3 plays, so I'm sure they had a spirited conversation in between series, like, hey boys, if we're going to get this done, it's going to be on your backs, so let's go.
And that was our highlight earlier of the Mountain View defense. Guys like Tongia and Tavita Tease on the front have been making an impact, but on this drive, positive yardage for Red Mountain all the way around. Skidmore in at the fullback position, and Savoy gets it again. Being a workhorse now and a gang tackle that time around, Brody Anderson as well as Tavita Tease in on the stop.
And they're having success going right in between the tackles there into the strength of that front. And this is an impressive drive. Let's see if they need to convert this third down, though.
It was a struggle for them last week as they were living and dying by the third down conversion. And now 3rd down and 2.
And it's always a challenge when, you know, it's always a philosophical thing. Do you keep running the same thing? It's been working. Don't change it. Or do you change it up to try to catch them off guard?
Savoy has the give and the first down. Touchdown saving tackle by Brody Anderson as Savoy shot out into the middle level of the defense.
Yeah, that was just power. Kick from the fullback and a wrap from the guard. If we go to the tape here, you can see the shift down from Martinez. Great down block there from Martinez. Make a big old hole there.
This time Preston Heap in the backfield, and he goes out to his standard tight end position. Savoy with another give, and the ground game is being utilized heavy on this drive for Red Mountain, and it takes us down to 0-0. So the end of the first quarter, Red Mountain driving a 3-0 lead off the leg of Kai Evans, and we'll be back with second quarter action on the NFHS Network and RMTV. The Battle of Brown Road Part 2 has been won and lost in the trenches up to this point tonight. The first couple of drives, the Mountain View defense in the front seven had been making all the stops in the ground game, but positive yardage this drive for Red Mountain in that aspect.
Yes, they found some success running some gap schemes, getting down blocks from their guards and tackles and pulling their backside guard around, and it's been working thus far. Nothing big, but 5-6 yards a pop will get it done.
Teams switch sides of the field, and Red Mountain have it inside the 30. They come out of the break giving to Savoy, and he's wrapped up by Beckham Barney.
It's going to be close to a first down there, and it is.
So Red Mountain continue to move the chains, and I just love the story of Zay Savoy so much for this Red Mountain team. A 4A transfer from Apache Junction. He was incredible there. A couple 2,000-yard seasons, plentiful in the touchdown department, had a season with 27, and then he comes to 6A. Can he play with the big boys? Yes, he can. One of the best teams in the state of Arizona against Hamilton. He broke out for 136 yards and a touchdown against them.
If they are going to have success in this playoff tournament, it is definitely going to be because of his running ability.
He picks up another gain of 4 this time around. It's just funny when you hear talking throughout the state of Arizona, when you see a big splash in a transfer in a player like Savoy, the question comes up and the rumors start of, yeah, he did that at a lower level, but can he compete at 6A? Kids are a little bit more talented at that level, and he's proven himself.
Absolutely. He's shown toughness and the ability to run inside and out. He's a heck of a back.
Lopez with a fake this time around, telling Wagner to go forward, and what a pitch and catch if the call stands. Wagner with a little heel tap on the far sideline. And now Red Mountain inside the red zone.
And again, obviously him and Wagner have a connection for sure. But if he had been looking a little more inside, the over route came wide open there from the backside tight end. If you see it here.
I think it was Skidmore.
Skidmore threw his hand up and was all alone. But another great play, another first down. Keep the chains moving.
Here's the Wildcat look that we were anticipating. Savoy takes the direct snap and surges forward and battles down to the 1.
And this is one of those things where it's demoralizing for a defense when you know what's coming and you can't really stop it.
First and goal now from the 1, a late substitution for Red Mountain. Lopez goes with the sneak. Officials come in and they spot it just short of the goal line.
That's got to be a first down now.
They got the first down on the previous play with Savoy, I believe.
Oh, the marker has 2 on it. So now it's 2.
The nose of the football, from up here in the press box, inches away from the goal line. Back to the Wildcat for Savoy. Takes the direct snap, goes right, and he is stuffed. A good jump by Riggs Metcalf, and the goal line stand continues for Mountain View.
And again, what I was talking about earlier, do you keep doing what you've been doing, or do you have to change it up at this point?
Lopez with the sneak again, but not before a flag flies. Bodie Wagner pointing across. And this is a pivotal flag. Offsides against Mountain View. I don't know if there is half a distance of the goal from where the ball was spotted already.
They just give it a wiggle.
Remains third down.
So crunch time now for the Red Mountain offense and a drive where you want to come away with 6.
I feel like they have to. To kick a field goal here, I feel like would be disastrous.
Lopez rushes over the right side, and he's in this time. Touchdown, Simon Lopez on the ground. Double digits for him now, his 10th rushing touchdown of the season.
And that was a statement drive right there. That was, we are going to run the football, and we're going to finish the drive with a touchdown. And you couldn't have scripted it any better if you're a Mountain Lion fan. That was playoff football right there. Love it.
I think all the credit on that drive goes to the offensive line. They were moving the defense back and back, chunking 4, 5, 6 yards with Savoy on every play.
Absolutely. And the difference from last week, Savoy was getting hit either before or at the line of scrimmage, and this time he was getting a head of steam and able to plow forward for 5 or 6 yards. And like I said, those runs and those blocks have a cumulative effect on that defense.
Rushing touchdown extends the lead 10-0, 8:44 left in the second, and we'll take a break.
Back to return for the Toros. Number 4, Hunter. And number 8, Dominic Gerard. On the kickoff for the Mountain Lions, number 36, Connie Evans.
Marks and Sumko set to receive. The kick won't even make it that far. A short one that Bogle catches as Kai Evans didn't get all of that one.
Kickoff brought back by number 20, Jackson.
And that's a good start to the drive for Mountain View. A little special teams mishap from Kai Evans, and they get good field position out at the 35.
And I think the challenge here is obviously you want to get back and score right away, but I think they have to come out and continue to run the football. It's what they had success with last week. I don't think you can abandon the run just because you're down 10 points. There's still a lot of football left to be played here.
Yeah, it's not that stage in the game yet where you have to go away from the run and it's predictable where you're going through the air every time around. Would not be surprised if Jean-Pierre has a response drive to what Zay Savoy just did on the other side.
Different set from the Toros this time around.
Play action, Jermaine goes over the top and has Sumko. A big play to start. Mauder pushes Sumko out of bounds. But now the offense coming to life for Mountain View. All it takes is one play for this team.
And they came out in a condensed set there. Heavy run look. And they ran a little bench route from Sumko there with a clear out from number 1.
Gain of 21 on the play, and Mountain View now in Red Mountain territory. Jean-Pierre has the give this time around, and he's yanked back by Jennings. It looks like such hard work to tackle that guy. I mean, Jennings was digging his heels into the turf trying to pull him backwards, and he still goes forward for 2.
He is a super physical runner. He's a big back, and his leg drive is super impressive.
Jack Germain goes to the wristband this time around and communicates to this offense what the call will be as we tick under 8 minutes in the second quarter. Germain goes opposite side of the field, and Sumko lays out for it and makes a catch. He'll be a yard short of the chains.
Wow, that was a heck of a grab because that one got away from Germain. That kind of sailed on him, and Sumko had to leave his feet and lay out for that ball. That was a heck of a catch.
He's a really talented junior. 730 yards receiving now on the season and 5 touchdowns to complement it. Jean-Pierre out across the middle for a first down, and this drive from Mountain View breathing life into the student section.
And they've had success with that condensed set. They're going to go to it again here. And they're subbing lineman number 73, left tackle, is hurt.
Yes, Caleb Gibson comes in to replace Adam Pierce, the aforementioned injured player favoring that right leg. Germain gives back to Jean-Pierre, not much room to work with.
And I love this is old school football, Zach. This is multiple tight ends, a lot of extra gaps for defense to contend with, and for any gap sound defense, that's trouble, because now you have to have guys fit in, whether it's a corner or a safety, that aren't used to playing in the box. And I think that's what they're doing now, and they're having some success with it. Not on that last play, but I think they're setting up another play action here to the receivers down at the bottom of the screen.
It's been a great response drive for Mountain View. They go back to play action, and Jermaine has a wide open Sumco, and they are in the red zone.
And it's the identical play they converted the last time. It's a clear out with a deep out from Sumco.
Mikey Sumco 3 for 48 on this drive alone. And a timeout taken.
He's 2 for 46 on that one play that they ran twice.
Yeah. It's just an impact that he can make. And, you know, a lot of times in high school football, quarterbacks can find their favorite target, right? And you see one guy who just, above all else, has all the stats on the team. But Jack Jermaine, he spreads it. He's over 2,200 yards on the season, and everybody is involved. You have 3 pass catchers on this team over 500 yards, and Mikey Sumco is the yardage leader. After this drive here, he's hovering right around 760 on the year.
And I'm sure they went back and looked at the tape last week, and they were like, how did we not get this guy the ball more? You know, 1 target, 1 catch. So there's obviously an intentional throwing the ball to him early in this game to get him involved.
It's funny because it was one of those games last week where everything that you set to predict from what you've seen on film all season long was the exact opposite. We saw a lot of the ground game from Mountain View last week when we're used to seeing Jack Jermaine sling it and have those big stat lines in passing games. And on the flip side of thing for Red Mountain, it was just tough to get anything going offensively when you're transitioning quarterbacks and the game plan kind of goes out the window at that point.
Yeah, they struggled last week to find their identity, I would say, on offense especially. Just didn't have success doing either throwing or running. And they've obviously dedicated themselves to running the football this week as they should, and it's paid off on that previous drive. But now their defense is backed up on the 8-yard line here.
First down and goal. And Jermaine fakes it, goes over the top, and he can't connect with Poe. Poe was his favorite receiver last week as he had 5 catches for 70 yards in this matchup.
Yeah, just a little quick, I don't know if you'd call it a slant. I'd call it a looky route maybe. Just trying to get inside leverage on that corner, and then a quick little turnaround, and Jermaine just threw it behind him.
We talk about it week in and week out, but the field just shrinks so much when teams get inside the red zone, and it just becomes harder and harder to score. We saw Red Mountain take 3 snaps from inside the 2-yard line, and it took them the last one to get the touchdown. Jean-Pierre has the give this time around. An open hole laid out. He pays for it, but he gets in, and the response is there for Mountain View. Back-to-back weeks for touchdowns on the ground for Isaac Jean-Pierre.
Oh, and looked like it was Jamison Wade who was in the backfield and just couldn't keep his feet. And he was able to evade him and punch it in.
I mean, Jean-Pierre, he got blown up there. He got the little low-high treatment where the first guy catches you on the ankles, you go airborne, and the other one plants you up top. But a hard-fought touchdown run from Jean-Pierre, and that cuts the lead to 3 following the successful extra point off the leg of Mason Lindbergh. And we have ourselves a game here. The Battle of Brown Road. Not falling short, not disappointing everybody. 10-7, Red Mountain still on top, but Mountain View closing in, 5:45 to go in the first half.
Back to return for the Mountain Lions, number 17, Chris Castaneda. Number 5, Gunnar Moore. And number 11, Bodie Wagner.
Lindbergh sends the kick through the end zone following the scoring drive, and he's one of those kids with a big leg. Both these teams have a big leg on each side, and you wonder, with the 10-7 game right now, if it comes down to it. Lindbergh missed one last week in the matchup, and it was a short one around the 26-yard mark. But, I mean, I have faith in both him and Kai Evans if the game comes to it.
In his defense, there was a Blackhawk taking off. At the moment he was kicking, and I know you would say, well, that doesn't really matter, but those things can kick up some wind. So that may have been a factor there, or at least from a distraction standpoint.
We felt it up in the press box for sure last week, and the noise gets in on you, the decibels raise and everything. Lopez goes play action on first down and connects with Gunnar Moore.
And that is the benefit of having an effective run game, is now those linebackers and safeties are coming up to play run, and you're getting one-on-one matchups, and that was B-Dubs there with a great catch on a post.
Play action success, and now the playbook wide open on 1st and 10 for Red Mountain. Savoy has the give, goes towards the Mountain View sideline, breaks a couple tackles and spits out across the 50. Enough for the first down as Savoy picks up 12.
That was a great little run there because he didn't have much blocking there at the end. There were two guys waiting for him, and he was able to scamper to the edge of the sideline there and pick up the first down. It was a great little run.
The drive off to a good start for Red Mountain across midfield as they're looking to punch in another one before the half.
And I would almost say that they don't want to be in too much of a hurry here. Obviously, you want to go score, but ideally, you'd score, the half would end, and then you get the ball to start the second half.
I don't disagree with you whatsoever because we see how volatile this Mountain View offense can be and explosive. All it takes is one play, a deep shot to Corendus Poe or Mikey Sumko, and they can equalize right away.
Absolutely. So I think it's important that they score, but important that it takes the rest of this quarter to do it.
Second and 5 now as Lopez out of the gun has Savoy flanking him to the left. Low snap, but able to be handled. Savoy outruns the first tackle from Beckham Barney, and more positive yardage for the ground game of Red Mountain.
And I think they found an answer there. Last week they kept trying to get the edge running that stretch play, and they weren't really able to do it. But now when they go to trips, they get a different look, and Savoy is able to get around the end there and come up with a big run.
Red Mountain really digging through the playbook, changing the formations. And this time they bring out play action. Lopez over the top, Moore
Out of bounds.
called out of bounds. Just a little bit late that time from Lopez.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, like you said, he's just a second late on that throw. Normally on those corner routes, on those deep breaking outs, you want to throw it as he's coming out of his break because it's timing. And he was a little bit late. And remember, he hasn't played, other than last week, he hadn't played for a couple weeks. So still some rust probably as well.
And just being able to get back into the swing of things and whatever new sets are implemented in the offense as the season comes out, try to get back to the basics, but then also integrate the new stuff and remember it.
And there's so much to, building that relationship with your receivers. There's a reason why all these guys, these professional guys, are throwing all offseason with their receivers and their tight ends. You build a relationship, you start to learn, their body language and when they're going to make a break and all those kind of things. You can't replace that,
A big 3rd and 9 upcoming for Red Mountain from the 29. Lopez steps up in the pocket and finds B-Dubs on the near sideline. Bodie Wagner inside the 10, and another red zone opportunity for Red Mountain.
That was a heck of a play. Having the sense of where he was on the field to pull up and throw that laser to Wagner. What a great play by Lopez.
His legs are such a big part of his game, and it's impressive what he can do when he gets out of the pocket.
We're not getting the double on counter. It's not getting
And Savoy, another good run. And just like we said, the clock continues to run. They're now inside the 5. Punching it in for a touchdown here would be crucial. And that would definitely go a long way. You know, we talked about, you know, those middle 8 minutes of the last 4 and the first 4 of the second half. If you're able to win those, especially when you're getting the ball to start, that could be the difference between winning and losing here.
Lopez keeps it himself this time, breaks the tackle, and Simon Lopez responsible for both touchdowns tonight for Red Mountain.
He just dropped his shoulder and ran in that corner. That corner was not interested in that collision whatsoever.
Has to feel good to be back for Simon Lopez,
oh my goodness. Yeah. So if we go to the replay here, it's just a quarterback boot keep here. He's going to pull it, misses the tackle, and just finishes it with the shoulder drop there.
You could see right away Riggs Metcalf hit himself on the head for not making the tackle on Lopez in the backfield. It's a hard tackle to have, though. Lopez is definitely shifty, able to break things, and an arm tackle isn't going to stop him in the red zone.
And that's the thing with the whole read game and booting. You still have to play both. And I think they teach the guys now to try to blow up the mesh. Instead of trying to get one, just go for both of them and you'll get something or you get the ball. And on that angle, it was just enough for Lopez to slip around and make a play.
The resilient run game of Red Mountain give them a 10-point lead with 1:42 left in the first. The first half of things, that is, in Mountain View. Try to respond. Evans gets a little bit more on it this time, but still good enough to be returned. Hodden Marks breaks a tackle and works forward. And they get out towards midfield, and just what you talked about, not leaving enough time on the clock to respond. It's a tough game to play. With 1:34 in great field position, Mountain View have the chance.
I can imagine we will see that same play that they ran to Simcoe yet again on this drive. If they come out in that 2x2 heavy set, I would imagine we'll see more of it.
Not that last week wasn't exciting with a 1-point game, the deciding factor 28-21, but there's a lot of life in both of these teams tonight, and they're throwing punches back and forth.
Well, there's a finality of it. Like, nobody wants their season to end. You want to keep fighting and get a chance to play next week. The name of the game is survive. Win and survive.
A little bit of S&A here, survive and advance for both sides, huh?
Yep.
Poe able to pick up 9 on first down and has his first catch of the night. And now the aerial attack being unleashed with the time winding down in the first half for Mountain View.
And now again, you're the conundrum for Kyle Enders. Do you continue to bring pressure, or do you play more conservative and play coverage here at the end of the half?
Mauder looking to back off into coverage this time around. Jermaine pump fakes, takes the deep shot. Simcoe has it all the way to the Casa. 46 yards in a response from Mountain View.
And not surprisingly, that was the first time tonight we saw Jermaine have time to sit back, pump fake, and throw the deep shot.
The pump fake got a bite from Castaneda there on the edge. And what a first half for Mikey Simcoe. 4 for 94 and a 46-yard touchdown. Going up and through And what started as a good game escalates to a great game. 17-14, a minute 19 left in the first half. And Sumco getting the sideline pumped up, as well as the home crowd here at Mountain View. We'll have the rest of the first half after the break. Wild back and forth that these two offenses are going through. We discussed it on the Red Mountain drive, maybe scoring and not giving enough time to Mountain View. And it only takes them a couple of plays to answer, and now Red Mountain has a minute 19 to go down the field.
And I think it'll be telling here where their head's at to see what they do on this drive. Do they try to get a 2-minute offense, try to get into field goal range maybe, take a couple shots downfield, or do you run it out content with a 3-point lead at the half? We'll find out in a minute.
I think there's confidence in both offenses so far tonight, and you brought up the point that Red Mountain get the ball back to start the second half here. It's been a good game called so far by Brian McDaniel and company, but you see what else they have up their sleeve and the aggression at this point. Lopez scrambles and just throws it away, and a flag comes in late. Around the area of a hold?
I think there was a guy may have gone a yard past the line. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look at the tape, because if an offensive lineman's an extra yard downfield, it's not changing the outcome of the play.
Flag on the play.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's the ineligible on Red Mountain.
Oh no, there was way down. No, there was a screen. They had a screen on, and Josh Lee was a good 5 yards downfield on that one. So
that backs things up 5 yards for Red Mountain on the drive, and it only took 8 seconds off of the clock.
And the Toros have all their timeouts here, so they could force a punt if they're not able to get a first down here.
Savoy, plenty of room to work with.
Never mind.
And he picks up the first down.
So now you're back to tempo, I would imagine. Yeah, here they go.
First down for the Mountain.
A big run of 16 that time around for Savoy.
And these drives really can make or break a football game.
Lopez on the sprint out. Decides to get upfield, take a hit near the sideline. You almost just like to see him go out of bounds that time around, save the body a little bit.
I think he was trying to. I and I don't know. Yeah, he did go out of bounds, and they finished him off there. And, I think after last week's game, Simon, on his first play in the game, throwing that pick, I think he might be a little bit hesitant on those crossers late.
This time Lopez escapes pressure again, trying to direct traffic, and has to throw it away. He wanted Wagner to go upfield that time around, but the coverage was good across the board for Mountain View.
Yeah. You can tell that they definitely worked the scramble drill this week a few times on defense. We'll see what they have dialed up here on third down. One deep safety. Looks like a man-free coverage.
On the Mountain View sideline, quarterback Jack Germain getting the crowd into it on this big third down. Savoy gets the carry and has a little bit of room to work with, but he's swallowed up by Beckham Barney.
And Jermaine takes a timeout here.
So that'll bring Mauder out to punt it with 37 seconds left in the first half. And as we mentioned, the big play is there for Mountain View, so Red Mountain just have to keep everything in front of them.
Yeah. And again, those middle 8, if Mountain View's able to, tie it up or take the lead here before the half, that would really be quite a swing in just under, 3-4 minutes? A 2-touchdown swing there would be pretty gut-wrenching for the Mountain Lions.
It's been that kind of back and forth in a lot of games this season for Red Mountain. We talk about them being 4-6 and a 12 seed, but through watching them, it doesn't feel too much like they're a 4-6 team. They had the tough schedule against Highland, ALA, Queen Creek, and Hamilton. That's 3 teams right there in the open bracket.
Yeah, and you look at it. We talked about it last week. Mountain View really hadn't played in many tight games. It was either a blowout win or a blowout loss. Whereas the Mountain Lions seems like they've been battle tested every week. This is the time where it needs to pay dividends in those close games.
Punt comes all the way back to the 45 after it goes off the head of Logan Haney. And more good field position for Mountain View to start this drive. But we talked about all those tight games for Red Mountain versus not a lot for Mountain View. The factor of everything has just been Red Mountain not being able to close things out.
Yeah.
They've fallen in almost every single tight game they've had.
And it seems that for most part, it's usually a pivotal turnover late in the game that costs them. So I think obviously the onus is on them to not turn the ball over here and protect it. They need to get a stop here on this drive.
Jermaine goes play action, stepping up into the pocket towards the sideline. Hauled in by Hodden Marks, waved out of bounds. Caden Gustafson comes in to make the call that time on the near sideline.
And the Toro fans aren't happy.
It was close. It looked like there might have been a knee down.
I'd like to pull that up here and see. No, that's a good call. I think by the time he possessed it, his feet were already out of bounds. Good call by the younger Gustafson.
I think for as long as football has been played and as long as it will be played, we will never know what a catch is, regardless of anything that happens.
Or pass interference.
When is possession? When is possession not had? Is the foot drag? Does a heel count? Does the toe count? It's always so confusing. Jermaine scrambling this time around, stepping out of bounds, just a yard shy of the first down.
12 seconds here.
That right there is kind of a big scramble from Jermaine, though, because he has the arm to kind of send a Hail Mary if they're not able to pick up the first down here. 12 seconds, you're probably looking at 2 or 3 plays. So you may try and advance, pick up the first down, and then take a shot to end the half. Or if you can get out deep enough into Mason Lindbergh's field goal range. Last week in warmups and this week, he was attempting and hitting from 46. Jermaine faces pressure. Could it be a fumble?
That's a fumble.
It's scooped up by Jennings. Jennings gets out, and the clock never runs. But Jennings able to pick up the fumble and get out.
Yeah.
Very interesting to see what the officials end up doing, because that play started with 12.2 seconds on the scoreboard.
Yes.
The fumble was forced. The clock never wound. The officials converging now to talk things over.
I think the where it is right now is probably where it should be. I think if you take into account the fact that it didn't run on the snap, they ran it for an extra 4 seconds after the play was dead. I think right about here is where it should be.
Everybody's going to feel like they get the wrong end of the stick. The Mountain View fans are going to feel like the time should have expired because it never ran. The Red Mountain fans are going to say, no, we get time on the clock. Big spot for the officials. Right now they're keeping everything where it is. and a huge turn of events.
I'm just curious to make sure they don't just say, oh, it was an incomplete pass.
Right now it looks like they're keeping the spot where it is. So our officials are going to go over and discuss things with both coaches. I would love it if we could see the play happen where the turnover occurred, because the pressure got in there from Red Mountain, and then Jennings was there to scoop things up.
So they have to get the chains here. If we go to the video, there's the strip. There's Jennings fielding it. So you got to wonder, why was that clock not running on the snap?
The strip came from Lucas Wilson that time, and Jennings there on the scoop. And you talk about the turnover battle being highlighted and even more important come playoffs. You had the muffed punt from Mountain View, and then the strip sack turnover. And the battle right now in favor of Red Mountain, but it comes to the points you capitalize with.
And if you have a home run play in your arsenal, a shot play, I'd let it rip right here. A chance to score another touchdown here at the end of the half would be a huge blow to the Toros.
It looks like they're bringing out Kai Evans for the 50-yard field goal attempt. It would be his longest of the season.
Oh my goodness.
He hit for 46 against Highland, and it had more room to work with. The snap is good. Evans gets it out, and Evans just misses from 50.
Man, he looked like he got all of that too.
It was a good kick, and you hold your breath up here in the box. A tough vantage point to have, but the kick, not enough to go through, so it's a 3-point lead that Red Mountain will take into the half. It is shaping up to be a good one. The first round of the playoffs and a repeat in the Battle of Brown Road. 17-14, Red Mountain on top on the road on NFHS and RMTV.
I Stand by Danny Elfman, and original works by Travis Larson. Isis Garcia, Aaron Beechler, and Nathan Sandling. Is your band ready? Toro Marching Band, you may now take the field in performance.
I'm so overwhelmed.
Let's hear it for the Toro Marching Band. The Toro Marching Band is under the direction of Adam Risch and Stephen Tuneman. Travis Larson arranges the music and teaches the brass. Jeff Whipple is the program coordinator. Wardell King is the percussion caption head. Corey Waite is the color guard caption head. Colton Johnson is the visual caption head. Every week, the Toro Marching Band student leadership elects a Marcher of the Week. This week, the Marcher is Riley Craddock in the sousaphone section. Thank you, Riley, for being a dedicated teammate and excellent marcher. The Toro Marching Band is proudly sponsored by MC Engineering, Lizard Moles, Sea Illusion Photography, and Chameleon Consulting. Thank you for supporting the band. The Toro Marching Band would like to thank the faculty and staff and administration of Mountain View High School for their support. Finally, a huge thank you goes to the Mountain View Band Booster, who are there for us every step of the way. VIP Toro football sponsors are the Adams Agency Insurance, Farnsworth Physical Therapy, Damage Control Restoration, Mendoza Immigration, Chappie Pediatric Dentistry, Arnett Properties, EMC2 Group, Sean Lake and Family, CRE Real Estate Options, Sealed by Santa, Family First Physicians, Laser Companies Excavation.
It's called the Battle of Brown Road for a reason. A battle it's been. 17-14 Red Mountain on top on the road in the opening round of the 6A playoffs. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Chris Andriotis and Zach Warhack with you on the call tonight. And also on top of that, just a big shout out to our production crew. For those of you watching at home, everything here is student run and operated. It's pretty incredible what they do, the product that they're able to put out and put together, and we have nothing but great appreciation and gratitude for them. You're obviously not a student.
No.
I'm still not a student. Graduated from NAU back in 2018, but they're doing great work for us, and the broadcast they put out is absolutely incredible. The two football teams putting a great product on the field as well up to this point.
They have not disappointed. As we've seen defense, we've seen great plays on offense, running, passing, special teams play, you name it, we've got it all tonight.
I know there's a lot of high school football action going on around the valley, so a recap for you. Red Mountain out to a 3-0 lead off the leg of Kai Evans early in the first quarter, and then the back and forth explosion started in the second. We saw Simon Lopez go in for 2 rushing touchdowns on the side of Red Mountain. On the flip side for Mountain View, it was an 8-yard rushing touchdown for Isaac Jean-Pierre, and then the 46-yard bomb to Mikey Sumko. That was a nice passing play.
It was, and they've managed to get Sumko involved early and often. I expect to see more of that in the second half. And now the Mountain Lions get a chance to come up and set the tone for the half here.
The kick sails out of bounds, and that's been a steady storyline from Mason Lindbergh. Big leg, gets it out, and gets Red Mountain starting at the 20-yard line. The ground game has been efficient so far, and it's what got the points and the scoring rolling. Zay Savoy, Lopez on scrambles, and the QB sneak to get into the end zone, and then the run where he lowers his shoulder at the goal line as well. Mountain View show pressure. They bring an extra, and Bodie Wagner out on the far sideline. A lot of room to work with. Explosive play to start the half for Red Mountain as Wagner out across the 50.
And sometimes it's just those little simple wrinkles. You come out in a run-heavy set. Mountain View commits everybody up to the line of scrimmage to stop the run, and you throw a little quick bubble screen to Wagner for – that's where they spotted it?
Yeah, they called him out of bounds, I guess, around the 40, so pushed out there, regardless of first down for Red Mountain. They go to the ground this time. Savoy tries to find the left edge, and who else but Riggs Metcalf. That guy has his nose in on near every stop in the past 2 weeks.
Brings up second down.
Oh, I did not see him step out on that one.
2nd and 9 coming out for the start of the second half here for Red Mountain. Savoy gets it on back-to-back carries, and a great job that time by the safety, Brody Anderson, coming all the way down and making the stop.
And it was a good job by Preston Heap on the block there on the point of attack on the end. Just got to stay with it another step. You know, that's one of the things that's hard when you're in space is feeling pressure of when the guy's trying to get off because you can't see where the ball is. You got to read what he's doing.
3rd and 8 upcoming, a little bit of jump on the near side of the defensive line, but able to get back in position that time around for Porter Hunt. Lopez dancing in the pocket and ends up just dumping it out to Lopez.
Not what you'd want on that first drive. They had that great first play, and I think Simon is playing it conservatively here. It seems like he doesn't want to throw the ball in an area where it's going to be contested, and you know it's probably the smart play. Throw it out of bounds, punt, play defense. Yeah, I mean, a good start, and then run game gets stuffed up there, and then you're behind the sticks trying to play catch-up.
A lot of time in the pocket that time for Lopez. He was dancing around, and at the end of it, there's a pretty big pancake block on there as well, as Mauder sends this one out, And it's elected to be received by Gornick and brought down. But I think as an early holiday present, we have to give you something that you love, which is offensive line play. I want you to pull up the replay from that last play with Lopez scrambling and look at the pancake block on the back end of this.
Let's see here. On the interior?
You'll be able to get it on this vantage point. It's when he's scrambling away at the end of it. Stay up the middle here, stay up the middle here. Right there on 52. It was. It looked like Josh Lee who came out of the backside and planted him at the back of your screen.
Oh, the old peel back. Oh, that's a beaut.
I know, it gets you going. Mountain View start the drive from the 30, and they go with Jean-Pierre on the ground, and you can't bring him down for negative yardage. It's impossible, and he gets forward for 2.
Still an eagle. Still an eagle.
Oh, I found a great vantage point here. If we go back to the replay, watch number 70, peel back. Oh, keep your head on a swivel, big boy. Woo.
Taken out Tavita Tease that time. And even though Tease pays for it, it was a result of a punt. And now the Mountain View offense continue to get to work.
Their insert top pass is there.
Jermaine back to pass. He floats one towards Poe. Poe had a chance to go up and get it. But the coverage there from Anthony Gamba, and he's one of those corner safety flex players that's battled injury throughout the year for Red Mountain.
And you could see there, you know, as a savvy receiver would do, not wanting to throw his hands up too early and give the DB a target. He just put his hands up a little too late. Couldn't bring it down.
It brings up a 3rd down for the Mountain View offense. And it's the same story we saw in the first half early on in the first quarter of both defenses playing energized and tight. Nothing's opened yet for either side. Jermaine scrambles out of the pocket and it's coughed up. Mauder with the forced fumble on the tackle. And the Red Mountain sideline jumping up and down, and the 3rd turnover created on the night for Red Mountain.
Jermaine's 2nd fumble of the night. Holding that ball like a loaf of bread. Now the Mountain Lions need to capitalize here. Sudden change, come out, take a shot.
Out of all the turnovers they've created, they've only come away with 3 points.
Yep.
On the muffed punt and led to the field goal, and then nothing at the end of the half with the strip sack and the field goal attempt.
Yeah, and if you're going to win playoff games, you have to be able to put points on the board after a turnover. You got the ball on the 38-yard line. You need to go score here.
Lopez goes play action and takes a shot over the top. Wagner tries to go up for the one-handed catch, but Dominic Gerard in on the coverage.
And I think he got hit late there.
Yeah, flagged down around the 45, and that would be right around where Lopez released it.
Yeah.
And the roughing the passer call comes in. The Boo Birds are out from the Mountain View crowd.
Well, let's have a look. So, play action play. Oh, I don't know.
That was pretty close to
pretty
Lopez
darn
getting
close.
popped right at the release.
Now, unless they're saying he led with the crown of his helmet, because it certainly looked helmet to helmet to me. So that's probably what they're going with.
Yeah, there's a lot of different variations of the reffing the passer call, where it be late, low, high, so you don't know exactly what it is. Savoy with room to work with, running out behind Preston Heap, and Preston Heap picked up about 3 different blocks on that play.
He did. He just went from one to the next and kept locking into somebody, and Savoy's able to churn his legs and get a first down.
First down for the Mountain Lions.
A first down, and that puts them down at the 10. 1st and goal, no room for a first down at this stage. Heap in front of Savoy, acting as a fullback, and motions out to his tight end position, and we've seen that time and time again. Savoy runs over the left side, that time behind Weston Hancock, and picks up a few.
Yeah, the shift is maybe that's the difference maker tonight. They're dictating the matchups, and instead of, if you have a more stout defensive end, now you can run away from him. So a nice little wrinkle from Red Mountain.
Close to 4 minutes gone in the second half, and Red Mountain driving inside Mountain View territory. Ball spotted at the 7. Lopez on the keeper to the left in a battle, and a flag comes in on the back end.
Another one.
But Dwight Culpepper had Lopez sniffed out all along on the contain.
Yeah, that was the play he scored on earlier.
Holding on the mountain line, 10-yard penalty.
I don't know. I didn't see a hold there. Let's see.
That was a good play by Culpepper because, as we mentioned earlier on the touchdown run, Lopez can be shifty.
I think maybe they're saying Onis was holding on late, trying to get the guy off there.
Kind of wrapped around behind towards the back end of the play. He got Metcalf wrapped up, and that's where the call comes in.
Those are tough because if the defender turns his back on you while you're engaged, it looks like a block in the back, but if the defender put himself there, it's not really. Oh, the throwback screen. Oh, boy.
Dangerous play as Culpepper broke on it. Incomplete, and following the holding call on the prior play, it brings up 3rd and goal, but it's from the 17.
Yeah, I liked what they were doing with the screen, except the Toros were not fooled. Now you have a little more room to operate in the pass game, so you can run something with different levels here. You can have, a deep and an intermediary route underneath.
10 seconds left on the play clock, and Mountain View probably ready for the pass. Showing pressure, and they only bring 4. Lopez slings it out to Preston Heap, and what can he do after the catch? Just get back inside the 10, and that should bring out the field goal unit of Kai Evans and company.
Pass complete to number 18.
Yeah, and not what you would have wanted ideally, but to come away with points, still a small victory, I guess.
Pending the field goal from Evans, though, it'll be 3 turnovers forced by Red Mountain and only 6 points as a result. 25-yard attempt for Evans. Kick is up and through, and now a 2014 lead for Red Mountain as Evans within range has been pretty much perfect all year long.
He has. He's been automatic.
So Red Mountain extend the lead just about halfway through the third quarter. It's a 6-point advantage on the road against Mountain View in the Battle of Brown Road. There's too much of a feeling of deja vu for me tonight to be comfortable with. First off, it's the second time in 6 days that these two teams have met. It's the first time in the playoffs since the year 2000 that these teams have met. But the first quarter and the third quarter feel the exact same, of these defenses standing tall, making stops, and no room offensively.
Yep. And again, is it a conservative approach again for the offensive coordinators, not wanting to make the big turnover, the big mistake, play conservative. Your defense is playing well. Just hang around till the fourth quarter. I think this fourth quarter is going to be wild, if last week is any indication.
exciting for both these teams to have an opportunity to take it all. We talked about Red Mountain and their championship history back in 2000 and 2001 going back to back, but Mountain View, they have an illustrious record as well. Jermaine on first down goes play action, and Poe gets the catch and the knee goes down. But we touch on all those championships for Mountain View, and it's been a long time that they've been around, and it's been a lot of them. First one back in 78, then they go 83, 86, 93, 96, which is my birth year when they were 5A, and then they went 97, 99, 02, and then had more appearances and lost in 06 against Hamilton.
Yeah, back in the day, the Jesse Parker-led squads were legendary for sure.
That year in 2002 for Mountain View was a 14-0 perfect season as well. And it's just funny because between these two teams, the year 2000 was beautiful for them. 2000 Red Mountain State Championship after they beat Mountain View in the quarterfinals that year. 2001, Red Mountain go back-to-back with Jim Jones at the helm. And then, as I just mentioned, 2002, Mountain View get their revenge, go out and win state that year.
Yeah, Mesa Public Schools was quite the football hotbed at one point, wasn't it?
Those two programs thriving and look to come back this year. You have a 5 seed and a 12 seed, a 4-6 record, an 8-2 record. But every time you start in the postseason, coaches like to say it, the kind of cliche, it's a new season. Records out the window, you're 0-0.
Absolutely, and it's really everything you've done up to that point is irrelevant, and it's only how you play in this game tonight. And then if you survive in advance, it'll be the same the next week. Living week to week, it's tough.
We have a Red Mountain player down being attended to on the field. That's one of those that kind of just looks like cramps. That calf getting stretched out up high, maybe a little bit of hydration going on.
Can't see who it is.
Yeah, it's tough to tell, trying to catch a number between the legs of the trainers there. But
I see Coach Runge over there.
Yeah, and he's laughing with the official. So that kind of tells me it's something with cramping and nothing too serious on the field.
Come on, Runge, get in there and grab a limb. Start stretching them out.
A stoppage in action, and what kind of benefit does that bring to both sidelines? Does it work as an extra timeout to give you things to talk about in the pace of the game and how it's going?
I think sometimes it might if you're gassed. I don't know if that's really the case. We're about midway through the third quarter. I think what it does is it kills any momentum that either team had going, because now you're just waiting around, and the team that can keep their focus will be successful coming out of the break here.
Oh, that's a tough one. It's Castaneda, and he's not putting any weight on the right ankle. So I don't know if it's a calf as much as it's that ankle, and that is a big loss for Red Mountain. It knocks one of your lockdown corners out of the game, but we've talked about the depth of this team. It'll probably be Isaac Haney to replace and then Gamba to have the other side.
Yeah, I think the way they were treating him, it looked like a cramp. Sometimes those calf cramps can go from the Achilles all the way up to the back of the knee, so it's tough.
Jean-Pierre, room to work with, wrestled down by a gang of Red Mountain defenders.
And Red Mountain is getting guys into the backfield. They're just not able to bring him down in the backfield.
Brought down by number 33, Carson Lauderer.
Just a well-timed handoff to get away from any pressure that time from Mountain View. As they work the drive, Jean-Pierre gets it again. Seth Barron, first one in on the stop.
And Mountain View trying to go quick, trying to keep Red Mountain from setting up their front. Going up tempo here is probably a good idea.
2nd down and 7. Mountain View have been comfortable on the ground for a few plays in a row on this drive.
They all check their wristbands.
Jean-Pierre goes with it again as the line gets him a surge forward, and then it's a rugby scrum from there on out.
I'm surprised that the officials are letting them stay locked up and engaged like that. You know, it's almost a safety issue at that point. Like, how many people are you going to let dogpile on there before somebody gets hurt?
A pivotal third down upcoming, and we'll see if Mountain View stick it on the ground or trust the arm of Jack Germain. They need the 46 to pick up the first down. Germain goes forward, gives it to Jean-Pierre, and he gets it. The chains continue to roll, and now after a couple straight runs, this is where, as a coordinator, you wonder if you open up the play action, take a shot on first down.
Oh, I think you have to. I think that's, you know, you almost get the feeling that that's really what they're just trying to do. They're running the ball so they can take some shots downfield.
Sumko has been the recipient of a couple of big plays already tonight. He's had a few 20-plus yard catches and then the 46-yard TD. He's matched up against Isaac Haney on the far side of the field. There's the play action. Jennings creates pressure. Mauder gets his head turned and Sumko able to come up with it. It was a great initial block by Jean-Pierre as Jennings had a full head of steam, but then you saw a hold after that.
Jennings was just not able to disengage, and you have to wonder why that was.
Well, it's a friendly rivalry, and these teams just a couple of miles down the road. Maybe Jean-Pierre just wanted to give a hug to his counterpart.
Well, if you look right here, it's not a hug, it's a jersey tug right there. Nice handful of jersey as he tries to extricate himself. But
regardless, guts from Jean-Pierre to stand in on Jennings, surging forward at 202 pounds. Germain has that pass batted at the line, and they call a pass interference or a hold, and that's tough because it was a tip ball or the ball was hit coming out of the hand, and that's when the contact came in from Gamba.
They're going to call it on the D. Oh, my goodness.
That's tough.
And if that's a tipped football, all bets are off.
Yeah, it looked like Jennings got his hand up and able to tip it when it was going out towards Poe.
See, I don't like that. I don't know if I like that call.
Ball was tipped.
Tipped pass, you know, 13 with a little push off there as well. I mean, if anything, let the kids play. Yeah, that's not. Again, I guess I have no idea what pass interference is these days.
Maybe a break for Mountain View, but it doesn't matter. You can't control anything but what you have in the product you put on the field. Germain gives to Jean-Pierre, and Mountain View continue to put together a nice drive. They've been very successful on the ground, as it's been all positive yardage on this drive. They're chewing up clock.
Yep.
Close to a 3-minute drive right now for Mountain View, and looking to punch it in.
Castaneda has not re-entered the game as of yet.
Can't see if he's on the table on the far sideline behind a crowd of Red Mountain players. But you are correct in that observation. Germain has Sumko, and Sumko has room to work with after the catch. Big tackle as James Krieger pulls him down, and they throw a flag at the end of it. I don't know if it's a horse collar.
Even if it was, that's not that guy's call. He's the back judge. He's way in the back. The side judge has a much clearer view at that point. And for all you conspiracy theorists out there, yet another Toro call.
So Krieger made the open field tackle, but deemed illegal. That just shows what Krieger's able to do, as he missed last week, but back in full force tonight.
It's hard to tell.
I think it looked, just on us watching the tablet of the replay, it did look like the right hand got up there in the horse collar area.
But I had no idea how that back judge saw it.
Jermaine goes to the air, floats it for Poe, unable to connect. And now a big spot, 2nd and goal upcoming for Mountain View, and they have an opportunity to take their first lead of the evening.
Yeah, this is a critical series right here. And why wouldn't you continue to run the ball here? You know, you've had great success thus far with a punishing back.
Jean-Pierre has already scored from the 8-yard line tonight. This time they go past, they set up the screen for Sumco, and he's brought down, and another flag, the 3rd one of this drive. We await the call from the officiating crew as they set up the screen that time to Sumco. That was a lot of the passing game last week for Mountain View, was those screens out of the backfield or the wide receiver screens where we saw Gornick and Poe get a few of them.
Chop block.
So that's a personal foul against Mountain View. And that sets them back 15. So really the personal foul is offset at this point, where Krieger called for the horse collar and now the chop block on that time around. We didn't get a number from Mountain View on who it was.
Oh, it's very difficult to see here, but you can see the number 2 getting the screen, and the player behind him is going to go at the knees of that Red Mountain player, kind of reached out and leg whipped him almost.
So 2nd down and goal, but it's all the way at the 22 for Mountain View. They cannot get a first down here because the backup was from penalties. Jermaine escaping the pocket, directing traffic in a sidearm sling, looking to find Hott and Marks, and no luck that time.
I have to say that Jermaine is almost a different quarterback when he's on the move. You know, he's excellent when he's in the pocket, and he's comfortable. But when he has to move, you know, his accuracy definitely drops off a bit.
It also makes it tough if your receivers aren't winning downfield. On a scramble, broken play, then it's just kind of like backyard football. And if they can't create separation, there's not much to come from it.
And this is really a big down. Yeah, they're going to want to talk about this, because if they're able to somehow sneak a ball into the end zone here, that would give them the lead. And I think they'd much rather have the lead with the 3rd quarter about to end than just trade field goals, still be down 3.
And that's the first timeout of the 2nd half called by Mountain View. So Red Mountain with 3, Mountain View down to 2 now. But it does feel like a really important possession. They had it 1st and goal from the 10, got it down to the 8, and then the personal foul on that chop block down low comes and backed them up, and they're outside of the 20 now.
And I think, you know, the timeout could indicate maybe we have something intricate, some razzle-dazzle perhaps, a double pass, some kind of exotic screen maybe.
I mean, playoff time is where you want to pull out all the stops in the playbook, right? It's win or go home, so there's no reason to keep anything.
No. Fire all your bullets, as I say.
A great atmosphere this evening. The Red Mountain fans have traveled well, and the Mountain View stands packed on the home side. 3rd down and goal from the 22. Jermaine, another sidearm look, and Poe has it inside the 10. And now it comes down to, what do you do, 4-down territory for Mountain View, or do you cut the lead to 3?
I think the way that this is going and momentum, well, they're going to kick.
So they bring out Mason Lindbergh, and last week he missed a short one from right around 26 in this matchup. Like you mentioned, we had that Black Hawk helicopter taking off, but just about the same distance. It'll be from 26.
He missed it.
It goes wide, so back-to-back weeks. I'm sorry, Mason Lindbergh, if I gave you the kicker curse bringing up last week.
And it's possible that was tipped because they had pressure on the end, and, man, it was awful close.
And Mountain View unable to come up with points on that extensive drive. It was about 5.5 minutes that it took. They killed that much clock, and still a 6-point lead for Red Mountain.
So here we go here. Watch the top of your screen there on the right. Oh, boy, I don't know. He may have gotten a little piece of it, just enough to send it.
That's Logan Haney kind of getting his nose in on the play. But on the flip side, that scared me, too, because Haney came awful close to making contact with Lindbergh.
Roughing would.
Yeah, if Lindbergh would have followed through, taken it, sold it a little bit, then it's a first down there. Savoy with the carry on first down, and the lines have been working effortlessly tonight for both teams. Porter Hunt makes the tackle.
Brought down by number 49.
And Yost a little slow to get up there.
Yeah, he was at the bottom of the pile of everything.
A lot of big bodies flying around. So we got a double tight set here.
They go back to Savoy and a pretty immediate tackle. That time around it was Beckham Barney in on the stop, and he continues to rack up the tackling numbers.
So third and a long 3. And that's quarter.
So end of the third that time around, a 6-point lead for Red Mountain, and a big third down and short, 3 yards to go upcoming on the other side of this break. But the Battle of Brown Road shaping up to be everything that it's been talked about throughout the week. 20-14, Red Mountain have the lead on the road.
You got to get an arm up there and wave it around.
Fourth quarter action set to get underway, and a third down and 3 for Red Mountain. Mountain View fans making a lot of noise. Play action from Lopez, and he'll keep it with his legs and pick up the first down.
Yeah, we'll set up off the stretch action. Another bootleg.
Brought down by number 24, Brigham McCown.
Nice little play call there. Continuing to use Lopez's legs in those third and short situations.
McCown makes the tackle on the outside to end the play, but a fresh set of downs for Red Mountain trying to extend the lead on this drive. Any points are good points here. Field goal gives you a 9-point lead. A touchdown makes it 27-14. Savoy wrapped up right around the line of scrimmage.
Mountain View defense is inspired here. I think whatever was said at halftime has had an effect because the Mountain Lion offensive line has not getting the push that they were getting in that second quarter.
Just 3 points on the board since the half. The Kai Evans field goal, the only thing that's gone through to go up on the scoreboard. He was perfect from 26 in the third quarter. Red Mountain trying to get points on the board, but also manage clock. Already a minute 15 gone here in the fourth. Savoy has a big hole and picks up a first down.
He's one guy away from breaking some of these.
Savoy brought down the number 1, Briggs Metcalf.
It's funny, you never really get to see his speed in the open field because he always gets to the second level and there's a linebacker that gets him right by the ankle to slow him down and the safety finishes him off.
Yeah, just a little counter play again, a counter H as they call it, with the H-back leading. Nice little pickup there.
That advances the ball to the Red Mountain 44. And they go to Savoy again, swallowed up that time around as Caleb Gibson imposing his will on the front line.
Yeah, there was nothing doing there. He met with a wall as soon as he got the ball.
So Red Mountain have been taking the play clock pretty much to 3 to 5 seconds every snap. They don't want to leave any juice left on the clock.
No, and I think it's a good plan. Your defense is playing pretty well. You know, you have a high-powered, explosive passing game of the Toros. Just limit their possessions.
Lopez back to pass this time with the underneath route. Bodie Wagner skips away from Brody Anderson for a second, but Anderson able to get enough of him to bring him down.
Yeah, that was a nice little scamper there to pick up a couple extra yards by B-Dubs. Third and 5 here. And probably a point in the field where you would punt if you don't convert this.
Certainly. Mauder had been busy in the early portion of the first half and then so far through the third quarter. Lopez tries the hard count that time around and the check with me game.
Get the call in they want.
Lopez evading the blitz for a second, but the sack comes in.
The ball came out.
Lopez lost it on a fumble. Brigham McCown forces the sack, but a fourth down. So Lopez coughed it up, but didn't lose it. That's a big recovery for Red Mountain.
Yeah, not that I meant to be prophetic by saying fourth quarter turnovers. They were trying to go with a double slant here and just were not able to get anybody open.
It was a nice spin move by McCown on the line to get in and make the sack.
That's a heck of a punt.
Mauder forces all the way back to the 10. And that time you could see the Red Mountain players going for the strip as they had a gang of tacklers, but Gunnar Gornick held the ball, but Mountain View pinned deep in their own territory with just over 7:50 to go in the fourth.
Yeah, and you know, I think you kind of have to look at this point, how many more possessions are we going to get? You know, so I think the onus is on the Toros here to go drive down and score a touchdown here. They're not going to look to come away with a field goal, I don't think.
This scoreline is so dangerous, too, because it's a spot in the game where all Mountain View are away is that touchdown and extra point from taking the lead.
Mm-hmm.
They've been trailing all night long, and that time I think it was a smart pass from Jermaine. Hit as he was throwing, but if that one would have been on the body of Sumco, there may have been a jump and a pick six from Isaac Haney.
Yeah, he was in proximity there, wasn't he?
I think the pressure kind of forced the throw behind, but also Jermaine made a smart play as he saw it and didn't want to force the turnover.
Yeah, you sometimes just put it where only your guy can get it, and otherwise it goes incomplete.
Pressure again from Red Mountain, batted at the line. I think Jennings got a paw up that time and Jermaine batted it down when it came back to him.
Yeah, that's the only danger of those screens is you're having your quarterback backpedal, and he's trying to get rid of that ball. And was it Jennings batted it down. Great play. So now you're behind the sticks, you're chasing. Now it's 3rd and 10.
It's going to be mesh. It's mesh.
Jennings has been extremely active tonight, creating pressure, a couple batted passes, and having a really good senior campaign.
Yeah, that motion's going forward. It's not Canada.
Gornick is going to be flagged for that. It was almost like he was across the line as well before the snap came.
And
it's a tough one to time up.
It's crafty. I think it's similar to something I've seen the Dolphins do on occasion this year, where you get your guy with a little bit of a head of steam on the snap, but he can't turn and move his body towards the line of scrimmage pre-snap. They're just not going to let you do that.
That makes it 3rd down and 15 for Mountain View. Backs against the wall, and a big spot for the Red Mountain defense to try and get off the field.
Yeah, and it seems like these are the ones that they're able to convert to keep drives alive. This is a crucial down, and the pressure's here.
Jermaine throws it into the empty space, and it was between 3 receivers that time. All the way across the field, the Red Mountain sideline hyped up from the stop, and the special teams unit comes out for Mountain View.
And you have a pin punt. I would think, I don't think they're going to try to come after this one. I think you just play it safe. Field the punt. Is that Castaneda? No, it's not Castaneda back in the game.
Yeah, still the injury, so it's Gunnar Moore back to return, and we know how lethal he is in the return game. Last week in this matchup, he had the 99-yard kickoff return out of halftime, and this is going to set Red Mountain up very nicely as they have the ball right around the 32-33 line to start this drive.
Well, this is it. This is the drive. It's all laid out to this point. Your defense did a great job getting a stop. You pinned them on the punt. You flipped the field. Now, you punch in a touchdown here, and you really put the Toros back up against the wall. But you have to go in and score. Anything less than that, I mean, I guess, yes, if you kick the field goal, it's a 2-score game. But I think a touchdown would really put them in a situation that's they got to score twice, 2 touchdowns.
Lopez goes to the air on 1st down, and Moore doing a great job, able to get his hands underneath it and pick up some yardage. And I think it's really a testament of the Red Mountain defense, right? We know it's been the strength of this team throughout the season, but it's kind of been like in the second half, they give up the little play that results in the big play. Tonight, they've been pretty stellar, giving the offense an opportunity to create stuff.
They have, and they haven't had any penalties that cost them thus far. Savoy with a nice little run there.
The pile moves forward, and that moves the chains forward, so a 1st down for Red Mountain. And this is the time of the game as we approach the 6-minute mark in the 4th quarter, where everything comes down to execution, and that's been the biggest thing for Kyle Enders and this team. When I talked to him before this game, he said, look, we have a great group of guys, but we have to execute. There have been times throughout the season where we haven't, and that's resulted in those close games being losses rather than wins.
And I think the most frustrating part for Coach Anderson's staff is a lot of those times it was self-inflicted.
What a run by Savoy, able to fight off the initial pressure in the backfield and force Jesper Lake to make the tackle in the 3rd level.
Turning and churning. And they stay on schedule here. And every click of the talk, every tick of the clock, sorry.
Tick of the talk, click of the clock.
I don't know what's going on here. I'm too excited.
That's a tough one.
But every tick of the clock is in the Mountain Lions' favor here at this point.
I think at that point you were just thinking about making a TikTok dance video.
I don't even have TikTok.
Lopez goes under center, and a timeout taken That one will go to Red Mountain. So each team left with 2 timeouts, using them sparingly in a good spot to do it. You don't want to take a delay of game at this stage of the game in this part of the field.
Yeah, a good judicious use of it. Just get yourselves in the right play. Make sure everybody's on the same page.
I think it's a good time now to kind of break down everything going on. So the matchup that the winner of this game will face will be the Desert Ridge versus Pinnacle matchup. Pinnacle was up 21-3 at the half. Since then, no update, but at that point it was looking like it'll be Pinnacle for whichever team here goes on to win the game.
And that's important because Pinnacle would be the higher seed, so the game would be played at Pinnacle. Either way, regardless of who advances here.
Right now, everyone wanting to live in the moment and keep the focus on this game. Red Mountain look to maintain the lead as they have all night. They got off to a 3-0 start and have been on top since the get-go.
And the Mountain View Band has a drummer drumming upside down on the sideline here.
That's talent right there.
The kid holding him should be playing offensive line for the Toros.
Electric on the sideline and on the field. Savoy goes forward and fights for the first down. It will depend on the spot.
Ooh.
They give him the first.
Yep, they waved him over.
So the chains move forward, and there's still an opportunity for one more first down for Red Mountain on this drive.
And this is a situation where, you know, you're very aware of ball security. 2 hands on the football, securing a snaps. Make sure your meshes are clean with the quarterback exchange. You don't want any mistakes here at this juncture in the game.
The status update on the sideline, the drummer just went right side up. That's pretty special. Blood rushing to the head. Savoy taken down that time, or actually stood up. Jackson Bogle, one of those Mountain View players in on the stop.
2nd and 7, 2nd and 8.
It's strength against strength between the two lines right now.
Yeah.
4 minutes and 26 seconds and counting to go in this fourth quarter. A 6-point lead for Red Mountain, and they are driving. Lopez goes play action.
Oh, he threw him down, and they didn't call it. Oh, my goodness.
So Lopez skates out of bounds, and it makes it just a short yardage situation. I think it should be about 2 yards.
Oh, my goodness.
So they spot him out a little bit shorter than that. It looks like it's going to be about 3 or 4 for Red Mountain to pick up the first. Do you like to go to the ground, your best running play here, get Savoy involved, or do you get crafty in the passing game?
I think you play it smart here. You run the football and then bring your field goal team out.
It's a long 4, and Savoy isn't going to get it. Upended by Metcalf. And Metcalf has been the star of this defense tonight for Mountain View.
Remember, we're always talking about how it's compressed in the red zone, those passes. You know, I think Coach Enders being, you know, it's playoff time, so you're not going to take chances that are unnecessary. You play conservative. If you make this field goal, it is a 2-score game, and the clock is still running.
With the ankle injury, Castaneda is out to hold. Kai Evans comfortable with him and needs him. A big spot in the game and the chance to extend the lead to 2 scores. Over the top with the jump.
And that's a penalty.
And the flag flies. It's a false start against Red Mountain. It looked like the kick went wide. Did it go through or did it go wide? Because can't they decline it if it was a false start, or was it whistled dead?
I think that it's blown dead if it's false start.
So that might have saved Red Mountain from a missed kick. I couldn't tell from our angle, but it looked like it might have been wide. Also, Mountain View trying everything to block that, jumping over the top.
I don't see any motion there.
Evans with a line drive, and it's no good. So both kickers have missed from pretty much the same spot, and it keeps the game at a 6-point difference with 3:03 remaining.
Well, I couldn't see any movement on that offsides. I did not see if he made the kick. It looked like he did make it.
On the play with the flag?
Yeah. And I can't find the movement on our replay. So now it's the Red Mountain defense is going to have to make a stop here with 3 minutes to go.
It's a defense that's played great tonight against a high-octane offense on the season. Jermaine going through the air on first down. Sumko unable to come up with it, as a nice hit put in by Isaac Haney to separate the ball from Sumko.
Yeah, and as the ball was teetering in the air there, they've been very close on a couple of those pass breakups.
Jermaine looks to the sideline to get the call, and there have been some opportunities defensively for interceptions on a jump route. Pressure this time, and the pump fake comes, and it's lost. It's a fumble. A live ball. Seth Barron goes to scoop it, and they call it incomplete. That is tough to see, but the pressure gets there from Red Mountain again. It's tough to tell if the arm was coming forward and it's incomplete or a fumble.
Oh, yeah, it was a simultaneous deal there.
That's a hard call to make live.
Let's see if we can see it on this angle. Oh, man. I think he may have just pushed it with his hand as he got hit.
Jamison Wade got in on the pressure that time around. We haven't called his name a lot tonight, but another integral part of this team, only a sophomore. Making a big impact there. 3rd down and 10, Mountain View. Game on the line, backs against the wall at their own 20.
And the same motion again. They're going to keep trying it.
And another illegal procedure with 2:52 to go.
Did Coach Jermaine play in Canada at all in his playing career? Because maybe he got that from up north. Yeah, he's clear. I mean, he's not only is he moving towards the line, I'm pretty sure he's offsides.
It backs things up 5 for Mountain View as they go 3rd and 15, and Enders wants to talk things over with his defense.
Yeah. And this is a critical spot here, because you have to think if it's an incomplete pass, you know, Mountain View with 2 timeouts can punt and perceivably get the ball back with under a minute to go with a 3 and out.
I don't think we could have it any better for an opening round matchup of the playoffs.
Fantastic.
You can feel the tension, both sidelines into it, the crowd's getting fired up. And it's just everything that's on the line for these kids, right? You have your seniors on both sides wanting to advance in the playoffs, have an opportunity at a state title. On the flip side of things, for coaches, you put everything into it, fans, parents, everybody alike, the sacrifice that's made, and it all weighs on the next 2 minutes and 52 seconds.
Yeah, and I'd really like to see one of these teams just go and take it. You know, not wait and see. Just go and create your own destiny and seal the game whichever way. Go and take it. Don't wait for somebody to make a mistake. Go make a play.
3 wide receivers set at the bottom of your screen for Mountain View. Red Mountain bring pressure. Red Wing off the backside. It's intercepted! Picked off by Lucas Wilson.
Oh, my goodness.
You said you wanted somebody to take the game. How about Lucas Wilson taking the ball?
What a play. It's like he threw it right into his chest.
A turn of events, pressure all around. Jennings got in. On the backside, Jacob Red Wing came in. And eventually Seth Barron was the one to get his arm on Jermaine, and it goes right into the lap of Lucas Wilson.
And Jermaine is holding his elbow as he comes out here. His arm's taken a couple shots just in this last series here. And ball security now, the main concern. You know, not that you want to play for a field goal. Ideally, you want to go punch it in and score a touchdown and seal this thing.
Protect the ball at all costs.
Yep.
Because Mountain View are going to be trying to rip it out. Savoy, Lopez, and company just want to hang on. 2 arms the whole way for Savoy as he gets inside the 5.
Number 1, Isaiah Savoy.
Second down and goal now for the Red Mountain offense.
Brings up second down.
And the clock continues to wind, so
Yeah, I think he's going to say, I guess Jermaine's going to want to save his timeout, see if they score. Maybe what situation where, no, you can't let them score in this situation. A touchdown would be, more or less a clincher at this point.
and the pressure has been on the kickers, though. Kai Evans and on the other side, Mason Lindbergh have both missed one from right around the same area, about 26 yards. Play clock goes down to 12 before anyone gets set up for Red Mountain. Savoy keeps it on the bootleg.
Lopez
Spins out,
Oh, my
reaches
goodness.
over.
Oh no,
Are they calling it a fumble or is he into the end zone?
I don't know.
It looked like he reached across and broke the
The
plane
ball
and
was
in.
It certainly looked like it broke the plane, but the officials seem unwilling to make a call either way.
It would be the 3rd rushing touchdown of the night for Simon Lopez. And it almost looked like he had a straight run all the way through and instead was trying to put a juke on, and they call it a touchback. He did lose the football. He fumbled it after Dominic Gerard put the hit on him. What a turn of events and what a time for Red Mountain to turn the ball over to Mountain View.
And as we were just talking about ball security, oh my goodness.
It almost looked like Lopez could have just won the race
Right
to the
there,
pylon
you
before.
see the ball come out. Yeah, he did not break the play with the football. It's the right call.
What a stand by Dominic Gerard to force the fumble against Lopez, and that brings the ball out all the way to the 20. And a
now
lot
momentum.
more comfort.
Oh my goodness.
The home crowd right back into it. Jermaine gets hammered. Off the edge, Castaneda on the corner blitz. Jermaine has taken an absolute beating on the past 2 drives.
He has. His arm has been hit while throwing at least 3 times. He's taken some shots.
I don't think Kyle Enders is going to stop bringing pressure.
Why would you? At this point, they're getting home. If you can get home before you can get the ball out.
5 come and the screen set up. Jennings trying to chase down, and an ankle tackle by Champ Jennings saves a big play. So the clock stops while the chains move. Everybody on their feet on both sides of the field and bleachers alike.
And you know what? You almost have to expect that it wasn't going to be easy. This one's going to come right down to the wire. And it's probably, the ending's most likely going to be contentious.
A pickup of 15 on the screen pass. Short pass again, and Poe able to get out of bounds. And they still have those 2 timeouts to work with.
The clock is not a factor right now. They're almost at midfield with 1:16 to go.
The call coming in for Jermaine, and plenty of clock to work with at $1:15.
And the defense is called on again to save the day.
Another screen set up in the backfield, this time to Jean-Pierre. Strong run by Jean-Pierre out across the 40. So the pressure from Red Mountain being countered from the screen game of Mountain View.
And if Kyle Enders had more than one timeout, I imagine he would take one here and just settle them down. But you have to save that for a critical red zone play.
Jermaine goes back to Poe, and a nice open field tackle on the far sideline.
The clock is running, so they're going to have to burn a timeout here.
Gamba makes the stop on the far side of the field. Good call on that one, partner. 41 seconds to go, and Mountain View down to one timeout as well.
So they've had success. You know, Red Mountain is conceding those short passes, and they're just chipping away. And those screens, they've been able to convert a couple times now on those screens.
You can feel the tension on both sides, and it almost feels like this game is being played in a dome, and that tension is just set up here, and the roof's about to come off of this place one way or the other.
Well, you have the quarterbacks trading turnovers. You have Jermaine throw the interception inside the 10. You think the game's over. And then Simon Lopez with the fumble going into the end zone, you know, and they get it back. Again, who's going to step up and make the play to finish this thing off and ice it? I thought we had it, but apparently they're going to go right down to the wire here.
The timeout good to talk things over, but I really do think the Red Mountain defense needed a breather. They were gassed after bringing so many blitzes, and now it gives Jennings and Wade and Barron, Mauder, those guys, the opportunity to have a little bit more strength and a little more gas in the tank.
And my only hope is that this doesn't come down to a pass interference call.
Let them play.
Let them play at this point.
From the 40, Jermaine pumps, takes a shot down the sideline. Sumko, jump ball.
Oh.
Batted away by Haney, no flags on the field.
I mean, it was in his breadbasket. He almost picked it.
Isaac Haney stepping up big defensively.
And the Jumbotron has the flag indicator on there. I guess that's wishful thinking.
They want it at home, but Sumko is definitely the guy you want to throw the jump ball to. 6'2", good frame, 175 pounds. And it could be hard for Haney to pick it off because he has that little brace on the right arm.
Oh, yeah.
Jermaine has to roll out. He gets it to Poe, and he's short of the sticks.
Yeah.
4th down and 1, and it's all or nothing here for Mountain View.
And I think you got to go for a quick hitter, get out of bounds, get yourself 4 more downs, you know.
Jackson Bogle as well as Beckham Barney, 2 defensive players we see, a couple of linebackers coming in on offense this time around for Mountain View.
Gornick out, which is interesting because he's been one of their solid, especially over the middle kind of receivers.
Just 10 seconds left on the play clock, and Mountain View still on the wristbands.
They might have to burn, and they're going to get it.
Everyone shuffling, last second. In the backfield, a sack! Who else but Champ Jennings to ice the game?
And there's a flag.
I think it's probably excessive celebration, but Champ Jennings coming through like a bullet to make a sack.
Let's see what the call is here. Sideline, yeah. Unsportsmanlike.
It's still going to be first down for Red Mountain, and so that ices the game.
Yeah, you can kneel it out even with the timeout. And, man, what a finish. I mean, you almost have to feel bad for Jermaine. Just he took quite a pounding today.
The pressure from the Red Mountain defense was the story of the game. They were in on it the entire night. There were a couple of drives where Mountain View able to get things going, but Champ Jennings had his nose in on nearly every play.
Yeah, and that was so I'm guessing they were going to go for the gusto there. They were going to go play action and take a shot.
Yep.
That's a gutsy call. Gutsy call. Unfortunately, it backfired on him there. Now again.
Just have to execute the snap and get the knee because Mountain View might fire forward on this. They let it go. Everyone level-headed and calm.
And he's going to take his timeout,
and Jermaine takes it to see if they can get a muff snap and have some glory. But right now, it looks like Red Mountain will go on to face Pinnacle next week and move on in the playoffs, and both teams go to the sideline to take the timeout. What a story, what a game, what a turn of events. We mentioned it a couple minutes ago. You can never call it over.
No.
When Lucas Wilson intercepts the ball and they get the ball inside the 10, you think it's done. A couple of handoffs to Savoy and that's it. And then Lopez has the rollout run, dives for the end zone, reaches out, and it's punched out by Dominic Gerard, and that gives all the life to Mountain View, and they were driving.
Well, I hate to use the cliche, but it is a game of inches, and, you know, if he had twirled a little bit, 2 inches further forward, it would have been a touchdown, and it would have been over 2 minutes ago. But, man, what a finish.
One more snap for Red Mountain to finish this game off. In the Battle of Brown Road, they lost by 7 just a week ago at home to this Mountain View team. And the taste of satisfaction to be able to win on the road and get revenge. Good snap, and the knee goes down. For the first time in 5 weeks, Red Mountain put one in the win column.
And, man, it couldn't have come at a better time and a better place against a better opponent than the Mountain View Toros. And redemption for the Mountain Lions tonight. What a win.
The student section stormed the field for Red Mountain as the fans in it and electric all night. A playoff win for Red Mountain on the road, just down Brown Road in the Battle of Brown Road. 20-14 final. We will be back for the post-game wrap-up after the break. Red Mountain fired up after a playoff victory on the road, 20-14, the final tonight at Mountain View. And what an incredible game. Just a matchup between two rivals that meet each other every single year. But tonight, Red Mountain get the best of Mountain View.
Yeah, and it was right down to the wire. And the Red Mountain defense, which is its signature unit, comes up big at the end, and they survive and advance.
It's been a frustrating back half of the season for Red Mountain, not able to close out any close game. 10-point loss to Highland, the 3-point loss to ALA Queen Creek, then a hard one against a tough opponent in Hamilton. They lose to this Mountain View team by a touchdown at home to close out the regular season last week, and they get their revenge on the road tonight.
And it couldn't happen to a better, at a better place and time. But I'll tell you this, I think there's a lot of higher seeds in this 6A bracket that do not want to see this Mountain Lion team going forward. They're playing well at the right time, and this bracket's wide open. I don't think there's any clear-cut favorite at this point.
It'll be a matchup against Pinnacle as they're going to take the victory against Desert Ridge. So we know the talent that comes out of that school, how good of a football team they are.
Yep.
A name like Spencer Rattler making it to the next level, and it's just going to be a really, really exciting matchup of defense versus a high-powered offense in
And
that
again,
one.
Yep, and then they have a quarterback that can sling it and some great receivers and skill players. So the challenge is laid out again, and we'll see if the Mountain Lions can rise to the occasion.
You enjoy this one while you can, but get ready for the next week. Highlighting player of the game for Red Mountain in this victory, 20-14. I know Simon Lopez responsible for both the touchdowns in this game on the ground with the QB sneak and then the rollout, but you have to give the MVP to Champ Jennings.
Yeah.
2 batted passes, the game-closing sack, another sack in the game, some forced fumbles. He was all over the place, and he is not letting his senior season come to an end.
No, you're right. He was everywhere tonight, and in the big, absolutely player of the game.
Out to everybody involved tonight. For Chris Andriotis, I am Zach Warhack. A reminder to all of you, an entire student-run production crew here. A big shout-out to everyone, all the students at Red Mountain. Everything you see on the broadcast, the graphics, the scorebook, the replays, everything involved, all student-run and operated. We will be with you again next week for another game at Pinnacle, NFHS Network, and RMTV. Again, alongside Chris Andriotis, I've been Zach Warhack. A thriller, 20-14, a victory for Red Mountain in part 2 of the Battle of Brown Road. We will see you next week. Everybody have a great weekend, a good night, and be safe.
Happy Veterans Day.